Guys and dolls, it's not a cookery lesson. I just thought I'm making dinner, and I thought, why not do a wee video? So hope you're all doing good. I have been really busy, and as you know, unless there's any demos organised, Sunday's my day off, and cover all my messages, try and get back to everybody, and try my best to interact with you guys. Any questions? But you don't get any answers if you're cheeky or threaten me or try to be the gangster. Because none of that works for Freedom Dad, unfortunately, guys. If somebody's had walked maybe a mile in my shoes, you would understand that. It's not about being hard. It's not about being a big guy who can fight. It's just about being a guy who will defend himself to the hilt, And that's what we're all about, It's not about winning or losing, It's about sleeping at night. It's about getting your head down the pillow and being able to sleep at night and being proud of yourself, People forget that, People forget the normal, logical way people are in life, and it's sad. It's sad that still, people feel the need to flex for Freedom Dad, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. I have to say, I got a lot more love than hate by far, Like, the messages of support are in their thousands. I mean thousands. And the slabbers are half a dozen. Mostly dissidents. Mostly Catholics, unfortunately. But like I said, it outweighs the love from the Catholics, And yeah, I don't dwell on it. It depends what mood I'm in. You know what I mean? We all have different moods, and sometimes I laugh it off. Sometimes I get pissed off, and yeah, it just amazes me how some people think that they can have any effect at all. But everybody wants to have their, was it 5 cents? Have their say. And when I always say I'm like Marmite. Some people like me, some people don't like me, but I don't really understand it. I don't understand why you don't like Freedom Dad. Only I know me. Only the people around me know me. And that's why I get so much support. And people come and work for me and they help me and look after me, keep an eye on me, protect me, drive me, and they look nothing in return, and it's humbling, very humbling. And there's not a minute or a second of the day when I'm out doing my stuff and I have my security around me that I ever think or take it for granted, or I ever think or not think about it. I'm truly humbled of the men and women that come out and support Freedom Dad in Northern Ireland. And it is difficult. It is difficult for a lot of people as well, being unionists and hearing sometimes freedom's language, of the union and different solutions that we have. And yeah, it is. It is difficult. It is a minefield to navigate Northern Ireland with the different political parties and the different views, different religions, And, it's one of the reasons why you don't have many people doing this, what I'm doing. Bringing men and women from the south into our areas, introducing them to our men and our women, so they understand And this isn't a threat or anything. It's nothing like that. It's but it's, it's very, with me being like Protestants and Catholics coming together, we need to reach out to the South. I don't want like people to misunderstand who we truly are. And the men and women of Ulster, it's like the IRA. We're still the same. We haven't went away. We're just wanting to go through life a bit differently. We don't want trouble. We're sick of violence. And obviously there's a bigger picture now. Bigger picture. And it's like we're trying to get the message across that we are prepared to communicate and talk and help each other. But at the same time we aren't giving anything up. And it's difficult getting that across. Like, oh, we're unionists and we're part of the union and we're not giving it up for no man. It's difficult getting that across while asking, for communication, shall we talk and stuff like that. And I didn't know how it would work. How I would be accepted in Ireland and stuff, And thankfully, the grace of God, the people, majority of the people realize that, yeah, there truly is a bigger picture, and whether you want to go back to fighting over this island after, I'm quite sure there's men and women on both sides that'll accommodate that, no doubt about it. And then we've got the carry on with the flags. The flags and sorry. Maybe edit this bit out. But we've got the flags going on down in the city centre there. We've got, so basically the flag was taken off our City Hall. And now we've got the English language being pushed forward, So it is a bit difficult right now for people like me, to be honest with you. When we have people like Sinn Féin causing so many problems, and groups like Kneecap, driving hatred between communities in the guise of rap music, And yeah, it is disheartening, and does make my life difficult, but I'm proud to say that the people of Ulster, the people of Ireland understand. I think people can see clearly what Sinn Féin are up to, And I think as well, if it was our guys, they'd be getting called out as well, because, anybody going out against what's truly happening in this country, with mass immigration and Islamification, and the mosques that are popping up, Sharia law, and all the rest, halal meat and stuff like that, it's all there. Now, I don't need to talk about the grooming gangs and all the horrific crimes that these guys are bringing over. You know all that. I don't want to keep going on, but at the end of the day, it's important that we see exactly through the mist, for want of a better word, the mist of anger, the initial anger of listening to Jamie Bryson say, if we don't get a slice of the pie, there won't be any pie. Listen, there's going to be a culture war coming, and stuff like that, and we're ready. To Catholics and Republicans, that can be quite daunting and quite going against, like, with Freedom Dad trying to bring everybody together. But, this is bringing everybody together. What Jamie's doing and the other politicians in Northern Ireland are trying to stop the madness of Sinn Féin, the triggering, the culture war of the inequality, trying to poke away at the loyalist unionist community and create divisions, because that's their method against my method. So my method is to bring Protestants and Catholics together to communicate, not to play sing ring a roses, you know what I mean? Or go out drinking, you know what I mean, together. To communicate his main. Just doing a wee video what I'm doing. Let's communicate as men, you know. And where Sinn Féin don't want us to communicate as men. They want us to fight as men. See, you know, we've all got different goals in life. You know, we've all got different ambitions. You know, my goals and ambitions is to create a future for my daughter that represents the childhood that I had. You know, my what drives me is my wee princess. Every time I see her, you know, every time I get photographs and videos, you know, and it drives me and it drives my goals and it makes me brave. It makes me brave to go down to Dublin and it makes me brave to go down there and, you know, has a Protestant ex-loyalist prisoner that's opened his heart on YouTube and doesn't have any back doors or secrets or any hidden agendas to face that, you know, and just pray that the guys know that I'm not here for trouble. I'm here to report on what you are doing and bring it back to my guys to say, listen, they're in trouble down there. This could come up and cause us problems, you know. And you know, this is the thing. There is only two people in this world, in my eyes, and that's one that are helping my daughter and one that's going against my daughter. And it's clear to me, and any of yous right now can see that, you know, as you can see, Sinn Féin has triggered emotions, and you know, it is emotions. You know, it's a threat of our culture, a threat of our traditions. You know, things being forced upon us at this time that are, in my eyes, totally irrelevant to what we see. You know, Irish language on signs, on vehicles, on council buildings, on council vans, bin lorries, council overalls. Right at this time, right at this time, and it's a deflection. It's to try and stop us guys, the Protestant Unionist Loyalist community, actually coming out and going, you know what, fuck all that. Not interested in that. This is what we're interested in. What you are doing to your own country down there, Sinn Féin? Why is all your people shouting Sinn Féin out? Why is all your people in unison shouting Sinn Féin traitors? Why is your nickname Shame Féin by your own people? Now, we've had many political parties in Northern Ireland. Us Unionists, Protestants, Loyalists, whatever you want to call us. And, you know, there has been times when we feel that they could have done a bit more, you know, for the people. There has been times when some people would think that they've sold us out, you know. But we've never actually called them traitors. We've never had nicknames like that, Sinn Féin, you know what I mean? You don't get people shouting DUP out or the P or the TUV out, you know. There's a big difference, you know what I mean? There is a big difference, and you need to pay attention to this. You know, even though you might think the Catholics in Ireland and the Catholics in Northern Ireland might think that we are your enemy, please believe me, we are your friends compared to what's coming. There is a time in the future when you will never look at us as enemies ever again, because you will recognize the real enemy in your world, in your life, and in your child's future. You know, and it is as logical, as simple as that. And while I'm trying to get this across to people and bring people together to communicate, to talk to each other, political and on street level, it doesn't make a difference to me. You know, churches, Catholics and Protestants, people talking, you know, about the issues that face us and how to deal with it. You know, the politicians talking to the people talking to the politicians, you know what I mean? And politicians speaking for all, you know. We need our politicians to speak for all, because you know, I've got so many Catholics coming to me right now, and I have evidence. I could show hundreds of messages. You know, I really could. If somebody wants to call me out, I will put them up there without their names, you know. And they're from all over Belfast, West Belfast, Londonderry / Derry, and Armagh, Crossmaglen, Bandit Country, you know, which blew me away. And, you know, they're coming to Freedom Dad because there's nobody else to go to, you know. They're being failed by their own political representatives, and they're reaching out to Freedom Dad because I'm the only one that understands what they are going through, how they are feeling, what they are seeing. You know, help them understand the awakening that they've woke up in, and they come to Freedom Dad to make sense of it. And Freedom Dad says, "Yes, you're right. It's not information. It isn't far right. It isn't racism. It isn't fascism. We've got a serious problem, you know. And the problem isn't just for the prods because of England. And it isn't just because of the Catholics, because of Ireland. You know, it's a both ways. There's no two ways about it. And you couldn't make it up. It couldn't work out better for me. I'll be honest with you, like that both countries at the same time, mainland and Ireland, have been overtaken by a traitorous government, a socialist, communist, far left government, who are determined in bringing foreigners into the country, so they will vote for them. And no, you stay there. No, you need to be up there. Vote for them and keep them in power to carry on destroying our country. So we have to understand that either the Unionists are more welcoming and opening to Catholics, or there needs to be another political party that represents both communities, because, at the end of the day, what else do you do? If your job is to, come on, get off there. If your job is to look after this country, and, we see that we're all Christians, and we know in the future there will be no division in this country, it's the wise men in politics that will see that. It's the wise men in politics will act on that. And that's why I always say we're clever prods, because this is time now for all our politicians to start reevaluating the language and the direction that they're going in. Because, we have always been unionists, nothing's ever changed. We've always been, quite open and honest about who we are. We're part of the union, we're British and we're proud. And we'll fight and die for that. We've been born in this country on the Union Jack, on the Union flag. And, whether it's not my fault, but I was born here. Nobody's going to take that away from me. And, with that, what I'm trying to say is that the Catholics that are coming to Freedom Dad know this. They understand that. And they don't care. They don't care. Because we haven't changed. We haven't changed the rhetoric. We're not pretending to be somebody that we're not, And I think, to be honest with you, that a lot of people are looking at Ireland right now and the damage that the EU and the traitorous government are doing. And they see Ulster, Northern Ireland, as a better chance, a better option for their children. And this is what's making the difference between the real men and women and the men and women who are just full of hate and want to carry on a conflict that's went on for so many years, and we've lost so many people and so many innocents and so many security services. And, the wise men and women now realise and can see into the future and can see that one day there won't be any division between Protestants and Catholics. We're just Christians. And we've got to recognise that now. There's a lot of small things that we need to do right now to get this right. Honestly, guys. I'm not anybody, I'm not a politician or nothing. I'm just a bank robber, But I don't know where or why or how, but this is what I know needs to be done. There's small things, maybe not small to some people, like stopping them voting. Don't let them just come in here and start voting after 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Get years down there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years before foreigners can come into this country and decide the future of this country. Okay. Now, to me, that's not a big thing. That's a small thing. That's just something that needs brought out. Everybody vote for it. Yeah, bang on. Yeah, we agree. It stops traitorous governments like we see bringing people into the country just to keep them in power. It's very, very important. And it's there for everybody to see. It's black and white. You can't go wrong with it. You know what I mean? It's like logical. You just need to look into it, and it makes sense. You just got to see who's voting for who and how Labour got in and stuff like that. Obviously there's other things we need to address, like the voting roll and people not wanting to vote because they don't want the that letters to come in because they don't want them to vote in roll. So I think there's things getting in place for that, so that won't affect you. And just to get people out to vote, that's the most important thing. What destroys us and will destroy our country will be us not standing up. I'm telling you guys, that's the only thing that will destroy us, not the impush of Islam, not traitorous governments, but the people that sit on their hands and do nothing and leave it to the next generation. So, I do believe that people are awakening. The generation next of people in the 30s, 40s and 50s are coming up now and going, you know what, we are the last stand. We need to do something, And there is some big changes. There needs to be big discussions, big talks, and each individual political organisations and movements in Northern Ireland need to have some serious discussions about the direction and the future of Northern Ireland. And it's not about the direction or the future of Northern Ireland you want. It's the direction and future of Northern Ireland that's coming, whether you like it or not, you know. And, you know, that future, I do believe, and I'm going to keep saying this, is a future where Protestants and Catholics don't see any difference in each other, you know. And I would just like our politicians to have a wee think about that and imagine what that may be like in 20, 30, 40 years' time, you know. And to also feel that you've been part of it. When they look back in history, you will be part of that because you will have made the big choices and the big decisions right back now. Because they'll be looking back right now, 2025, whenever, you know, we see other countries falling around us. Northern Ireland stands up strong and proud. And that's what it's all about. It's about understanding exactly what's going on, understanding the solutions. And, you know, like I say, I'm not political. I'm just giving advice out to anybody who wants to listen to it, you know. But I will be going live tonight. You know, I'll be doing my half seven live tonight. Hopefully 7:30. Doing dinner, chicken in the oven. This here should be on by now. You guys are holding me back. And yeah, I'll enjoy my Sundays. I enjoy relaxing. And I enjoy catching up with my messages and returning messages and stuff like that. Likes of activism, patriotism never stops. You know, it never stops. We are always constantly, there's always stuff going on. There's always videos getting done. There's always advice getting out. There's always phone calls between patriots. Between England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Ireland. It's non-stop. Okay? And yeah, constantly reaching out to different guys and women. And there's lots coming. Lots more coming. Like I say, we're in second gear right now. What we're doing, the plan for second gear is to bring to you proof of what I've been saying in the last year. Rather than Freedom Dad just banging on about the same stuff, bringing people to you that are experiencing it, living it, and can say, listen, Freedom Dad's bang on. I'm living this. This is true. In fact, he's left this out and he's left that out. This is what, you know, and that's the kind of thing I want to do. Show Northern Ireland, understand that, you know, Freedom Dad, you know, because it's hard whenever the papers are going far right and racist and all the rest of it. And it's only the people around me know that I'm not far right and racist, you know, and unfortunately that's life, you know. You've got to make that judgment yourselves. You've got to decide who Freedom Dad is. I can't. All I can do is tell you who I am, and, you know, hopefully you see the genuinely in my face, and that I am the same online as I am offline. There's no difference. If you stop me in the street and talk to me, you'll get a half an hour out of me. If you ask the right question, you're interested, boom, you'll get it. Just like a speech, and it's constantly there. I'm constantly. If people doubt me, then I will spend time, and I will explain exactly what I know and what I see. Some things that I can't say online, and there's never anybody that's left me that's had the same opinion before they started, if they had doubts about me and who I was and my motives, you know. So yeah, my motives is to make sure our children live in peace, whether I want to or not. Whether, you know, for talk, say I didn't like Catholics, right? Say I was bitter, even as a bitter Protestant, I still know we can't do this alone. So, you know, whatever you think of me, you know, you don't believe me when I say I love every man equally, every man and woman. I don't see a difference between black, white, Protestant, Catholic. I just see human beings. And, you know, with humanity in mind, you know, it is very, very difficult to go forward like this as a man who loves all. Because there is going to be difficult decisions needing to be made in this country. Because we don't know who is good and who is bad. This is the problem, you know. And there's so many really bad, dangerous, extremely, the most terrifying terrorists I've ever came across in my life, as far as conflicting horror and terror on communities and religions in Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan, Pakistan. It terrifies me. And that's why the humanity that I have has to be kept down when we need to make harsh decisions. Because we cannot allow empathy, the tool and what they use against us, to make us comply to what they want to do with mass immigration and bring these people into our communities. We can't allow that, unfortunately, because that's going to damage our children and our women. And everything else, our infrastructure, our NHS, our social services across the board, our addictions, our prisons, our rehabilitations, everything will be affected with mass immigration. And, you know, I look at it like this. We need to make hard decisions. We need to make hard choices. We need to put people back out of our country that have came here that maybe have good intentions. But if we don't know the ones with good intentions and the bad intentions, how can we take that risk? You wouldn't let them into your house with your children. Why would you let them into your country? And this is what I always go back to. This is our country. This is our home. This is our house. The government's meant to be our parents. They're meant to look after us, keep us safe. They're doing a terrible job of it. They're not only not keeping us safe, but they're putting us in immense danger. Our schools are on high alert right now. You've seen what happened in London. You've seen the Manchester Arena. You've seen the 7/7 London bombings. I could go on. It's only a matter of time before we get the exact same here. We see the horrific crimes going on in Ireland every single day. No risk, no reward. The YouTube channel I keep calling out that covers Northern Ireland and Ireland, who is my media source, he can't keep up with it. He cannot keep up with the volume of content, and I am having the same problem. People are sending me messages and telling me about things, and I am trying to prioritize things, but I cannot cover everything. I cannot cover everything, and I could be out here and everywhere covering smaller things, but I feel I have very limited time, and I've got to use that time and resources very, very wisely. So this is why you see the content that I'm bringing out. I'm thinking very carefully about it. It has been sort of planned, and we're moving forward. I'm always like a few steps ahead of myself, and I know in my head what's coming and how I'm going forward as we move from second gear into third gear. And it's all got to be done peacefully, but I don't control who does what. All I control is my channels. All I control is Freedom Dad and the Freedom Dad team. Outside of that, I have no control. And, there's a lot of people saying, now, what else can we do? And I spend quite a lot of my time asking people to remain calm right now, because violence can do us so much damage. It'll set us back at least 5 years. At least 5 years. And, at the end of the day, people just want to get rid of the problem, and there is a way of doing that, and violence isn't the answer. Please believe me. And there is solutions to these problems. And any politicians ever want to speak to Freedom Dad about the solutions that I have that need to be implemented in Northern Ireland, I'm always available. Always available. And I'm not looking praise. I'm not looking recognition. You want to speak in privately, off camera, off record, all the rest of it, I've got no problem. If you want to do it secretly, got no problem. No problem at all. I'll never speak about it. Ever. And this is the thing. This is what sets me out from the rest. And this is why I get so much hate. Because I make the rest look bad. I make the ones that are making money look bad. Because Freedom Dad's here struggling like everyone else in society and scraping by and relying on people coming up and handing me a wee tenner or a fiver or a £20 note to help me get a bit of food or pay for fuel. And, that'll never change, because I am part of the working class. Like I've out today, every time I go out, I bumped into a man in outside Home Bargains. He was having a laugh. You're not working today? And I'm like, no, mate, it's Sunday. I was there with Caitlin and my godson, and we were outside getting a smoke. Tills didn't open till fucking, I don't know, 1 o'clock or something, but it was very strange. And we were just talking. I was like, I'm in the working class supermarket, Home Bargains, and I love that. I don't want nothing else. I wouldn't be happy anywhere else. I would never enjoy my life to my fulfillment unless I was in amongst it with my people. Simple as that. And I've been everywhere around the world. I've had so much money come and go. I've had 4 or 5 cars in my drive at once. I had 3 fans on the go at once. There's one thing about Freedom Dad is I know how to make money. I know how to work. I know how to graft. Legally and illegally, unfortunately. But, as the years have went by, we've left all the illegal stuff behind. And, yeah. And that's a problem I see with what goes on around me. And I don't hold it against them. But they've got to stop holding against me. I understand it's hard. People need to make a few coin. I understand that patriots, people like Richard Inman, took a lot of flack. Took a lot of flack. It's cost people money. It's cost patriots money. They've lost businesses. I've got a friend, Jim, who was on camera for 2 minutes at the Bangor demo, and he lost customers from his business because of it. So you've got to understand, with the backing of the media and the government calling everybody far-right and racist, and anybody that comes near me far-right and racist, then it causes people problems, financially and personally. And I understand that, but you've got to understand that I do understand. And just because I do everything for free and my channel isn't monetized, and I've got Buy Me a Coffee, but I don't do anything else, or have my bank details down, or have PayPals or GoFundMes, that doesn't mean you don't have to do it, and it doesn't mean you have to hate on me. I'm not talking about Richard. I'm just saying hi, because I know Richard. I know what he's been through. I know what he's lost. I know the hardships that he's went through on his journey a lot longer than me in the patriot world. And like I say, guys, I'm here for every patriot, whether they get on with me or not, whether they shout me out or not. It doesn't make a difference. It's not personal. I understand a lot of people don't want to touch Freedom Dad. They don't want to be connected with Freedom Dad, and a lot of people are wanting to be politicians. And the thought of being photographed with some of the men that are around Freedom Dad can be horrifying for some men who maybe think future on, when they could be political leaders, photographs popping up with the bank robber and the hunter. You know what I mean? So we understand it. We totally get it. You know what I mean? But we also need communication. We need to work together. We need clear communication with everybody. And nobody can do this alone. Nobody in Northern Ireland can do this alone. It's as simple as that. And that's what I've seen with England. Tommy Robinson has been doing this for a long time. He's been on his own sort of thing, with a team around him, obviously. But, he has been there on his own without a team around him at the start, obviously. And, you can see that I've seen, because of the divisions in the right wing of politics and the breakup of all different guys who have got different followers, and don't speak to him, don't have him up speaking, he can't speak, you can speak to him, don't like him, oh, he's this or he's that. And it breaks everybody away. And this is what I'm saying. Nobody can do this on their own. Tommy Robinson is huge, and look at the nick of England right now. No offense to Tommy, but it's not Tommy's fault. He's doing everything he can. But I can see what the problem is. The problem is that we're all divided. You've all been divided for years. You've all been bickering and fighting and hating each other and calling each other out online. Just a wee bit like what's going on with Freedom Dad right now with certain individuals. Exactly what they're doing to me is what's happened to England to make England be in the state it's in. And I'm okay with people hating on me. I get it. I understand jealousy in all our state. Just doing a wee piece of camera, mate. So yeah, it's got to be unity amongst patriots, 100%. Whether you like each other or not doesn't make a difference. It's not a personality contest. It's not about liking people. People. A lot of us don't get on. A lot of us don't see eye to eye. A lot of us disagree. And then what happens is when somebody disagrees with somebody. So say me and Stevie Baker. Right? Now Stevie Baker is not everybody's cup of tea, right? And Stevie Baker knows that. He's been doing this a wee while, a long time as well, long before in Northern Ireland, long before me standing up at the protest, doing the protest, and I've got nothing but respect and admiration for the man. Understand that. But he's not everybody's cup of tea because of his style and his delivery. And, I'm the same. My style and delivery isn't for everybody. But the thing is I don't then tell people not to follow Stevie, or make up rumours, or make up mad stories about men coming from England and all the rest of it. This crazy stuff, you know what I mean? And people being on our social media sites that we have no clue about. Like thousands and thousands of people, like 15,000 on YouTube, 7,500 on Facebook, and I think there's over 20,000 on TikTok, between 3 TikToks, maybe more. We can't keep up with all them followers. We don't vet every single follower. That's mental, you know what I mean? And then there's other things that come along that create division, and people turn against. Can you see how... But any of you guys that follow us very carefully on Facebook and TikTok and know the Patriot world, you good Patriots that are at all the demos and all, can you see how people have turned against certain people? And how, even with Lindsay, it's happened with Lindsay. It's happened with Lindsay. It's happened with us all. There's been a story about us all. There's been, and like I say, guys, it's not just the followers that are at fault. It's also the patriots who have got these social media sites. Because I've noticed myself that taking it too personal. And I'm looking at people and I'm thinking to myself, right, you don't like him, you don't like her, you don't like him, you don't like him, right? Fucking so what? This isn't about you. It's not about how you feel towards somebody else. It's not about you not wanting to speak because he's up speaking, or you don't want to speak there because he's organised it or she's organised the demo. That's madness. Can you not see what you're doing to our country by behaving like this? You're bringing in your personal stuff and listening to nonsense and reading and pushing all the nonsense out to create division. When at the most important time in our lives in Northern Ireland, we need unity with Protestants and Catholics, and we can't even keep the patriots together. Obviously we can. I'm just saying this is what's been happening, and patriots have had to work really hard, and this is why I keep doing and keep talking to patriots individually. We're not going to like each other. Not everybody's going to be following Stevie. Not everybody's going to follow Lindsay. Not everybody's going to follow Freedom Dad. Not everybody's going to follow Richard and not everybody's going to follow Truth Podcast. Not everybody's going to follow Pinky, CJ Audits, or any other TikTokers or YouTubers out there. That's what it's about. You've got the choice to choose who you want, but pick your horse. Get behind it. Get your money on it, and let all the other horses join in the race, okay? Because we're all pulling the same cart, okay? We're all pulling the same weight behind us, and we're all got the same goals. We're all going in the same direction, and it doesn't matter who gets there first, because there's no trophy or prize, individual. The trophy and the prize is knowing that our children will be safe. That should be enough. You know what I mean? And you've got to be investing in this country, whether you got children or you haven't got children, because you've all got family members with children. And, because I'm trying to work out exactly why everybody behaves the way they behave and trying to understand. When Freedom Dad's putting things down in black and white and come over here and I've came with a plan and hanging. And, there just has that in fucking English, man. I'm surprised at you. Fucking surprised at you. Got a TikTok sent to me last night. It was screen recorded from a live. And as Irish make English, and I've no hate for you, mate. But come on, you're making yourself look stupid by talking about the MI5 stuff still. It shows you that you're showing everybody that you're out of the loop, and you're going, well, I don't know if he is or I don't know if he isn't. Nobody can tell if he is or he isn't. You can say it to anybody. The only person that says I'm working for MI5 is me. Remember that. That's where it came from, me and me only, right? There's not a fucking interview I've done in this country I haven't said no comment to. There's not a policeman or a fucking government official that could say any different. At every single interview, every time I've been arrested for all sorts of madness, there's been no comment every single time. And believe you me, if I was lying, they would love to prove me wrong. They would love to prove me wrong. So, at the end of the day, you got to go on the concept of what you see logically. Use your head. You're not stupid. Freedom Dad's jumping about here. We live in Northern Ireland. I'm from Belfast. If I was any way I've done anything to any man or done any harm to any man or woman in this country, I would not be running about this country. Please believe me. So use your nut and stop being so stupid, because it's embarrassing. You're meant to be a creator, TikTok creator. I'm tagging you and stuff to try and, and this is what I'll still tag you and stuff. I'm not falling out with you. I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed in you, because you should know better. You should know better. But everybody, you should know better. And I don't mind the followers and people coming on and the haters and the far lefters and the dissidents going, he's on for MI5, he's a glass, he's a tout, whatever. That's not a problem, because my followers deal with that. But if you're a creator, a TikToker, and you're coming to demos and speaking at demos, no, you should know better. You should know better. You should speak to me. You should have come to me first instead of slobbering and trying to make yourself irrelevant by using my name, because that's all everybody sees. So that's all everybody sees is you, and everybody knows the crack at this stage of the game, and you say I popped up from nowhere, and there is a bit of me thinks, fuck's sake, man, I don't even think I'd be capable of working around my 5, I couldn't do it, but so it sort of, there's a wee bit of me thinks, fuck me, man, cheers, thinking that of me, I'm capable of doing something like that. I'm not capable of ever doing that, you know what I mean? But, at the end of the day, mate, it says a lot. It says a lot. And, you got to understand, it's not my fault that I'm a better content creator than you, and that you've been doing this for so long, and I've just popped up. I've just come over from Scotland, stopped doing what I was doing in Scotland, stopped doing what I was doing in England, and came back to my country because I knew what needed to be done. I knew that there was nobody out here saying what needed to be said. You weren't doing it. Nobody else was doing it. You know, at the end of the day, you're getting at me because I've just came across and awakened half my country. You've got a hard time with that. All you're trying to do is pick, and like as well, like you see my videos. Let's put it like this: if I am working for MI5, we're okay because MI5 must want us to get rid of Islam. Think about that. If you think any patriot is banging on about Islam and the threats to Islam to our country and the damage that they're doing to England and Ireland, and if you think anybody is speaking like that is working for the government, you're fucking give up being a TikToker. Just stop. You know what I mean? Because if you're obviously out of the loop of the reality of the security services, the intelligence services, right-wing politics, far left politics, and what we're dealing with in Northern Ireland. And that's you had your rear end slapped. And we'll move on. Like I say, you know where I am. You want to meet and talk? I'm always available. I'll meet anybody for a chat anywhere. There's no need to slobber about me like that. It's disrespectful. You're better. That's what I keep saying to people. You're better than that. You're better than that. And maybe you're just struggling for content. Maybe it's just Freedom Dad will bring in a couple of listeners, a couple of clicks. Fair enough. You know what I mean? But you're letting yourself down. You're letting yourself down. So yeah, that's my Sunday, dealing with stuff like that, making dinner. I'm going to get this on before the chicken's cooked. And I will be coming live in 10 past 4, 10 past 5, 6, 7, 3.5 hours, 3 hours, 15 minutes, I'll come live. And you can come on and say hello, Mick English, you know what I mean? You're more than welcome on Freedom Dad's channel. Like I say, there's no hate. I find it a wee bit funny, but I need to call you out on it. Like I say, if you're a content creator, if you're a YouTuber, and you badmouth me, I'm calling you out. If you're a member of the public, a supporter, a hater, a subscriber, I'm never going to do that. I'll never, ever call anybody out that doesn't have a voice that can call me back out. Simple as that. And that's why I do it. If you want to give it big licks online about Freedom Dad, then you're going to take it back. If you want to carry on, then I'll call you out to do a live with me. And we'll do it live in front of the country. That's where Freedom Dad goes every single time with any single man or woman. There's one man, and because of his tactics and the way he's wanting to be famous on the back of me, I'm not allowing that. Like I say, Mick English, I will allow you to get followers on the back and debating Freedom Dad. Not a problem. All day long. I'll give you that. But some people who go out of their way to actually manipulate Freedom Dad, to trigger Freedom Dad into a fight and an argument, to get Freedom Dad online with them, to grow their political movement or their platforms, then I'm not into that. I know you're not doing that. I know you're not like that, Mick English, Irish Mick English. But yeah, there is some out there. And like I say, guys, I am freedom of speech. I am freedom of expression. I am prepared to be taught lessons and to be told you're wrong and to be explained how I'm wrong, and explain the right way of my wrong. I want to learn, you know what I mean? But like I say, everybody's quite happy slobbering about me, but they're not happy coming onto my channel and doing it live. And that's across the board. That's them all. Stephen Nolan, fucking whatever you call him in Sunday World, Hugh Jordan in the Sunday World, Alison Morris, all welcome to come on my channel and debate me live. These are professional journalists, man, just a bank robber, has been in jail half his life. You know what I mean? An orphan brought up in South Belfast. What's the threat? So there's categories right now that are attacking Freedom Dad, and you don't want to be in that category because in the long term, I imagine it won't look good. And like I say, I'll defend everything that comes at me. And if you've got a platform and you're using your platform to bring hate, then I'm going to come back at you. And I'm not going to come in a hateful way. I'm going to try and educate you and teach you and show you, like, this isn't good for you, it isn't good for me, it isn't good for our country, and that's where we're at. So yeah, I've got to get this in. It's a bit fucking strange, man. I don't even know why I've done this. It's just something different in it, you know what I mean? A bit of reality in the working class areas, and Sunday dinner, chicken on, carrots and broccoli, bit of gravy made with the juices from the chicken, as you do, you know what I mean? And a wee bit of peri-peri seasoning. we'll be good to go. So I hope you've all got food on your table. You know, that's one thing. I don't like talking about food. I've always been an advocate of people not putting their dinner up on social media, because there's a lot of people out there that are struggling right now. A lot of people out there are struggling. So yeah, um, I can't help everybody, you know what I mean? But, you know, if you are struggling, you can prove that you are part of our community. People can vet you, fight for you, and you're struggling, we will help. Freedom Dad's team will help one way or the other. And nobody should be going hungry in our communities. And there is many resources out there that can help. So always get in. If you're struggling with food, you know, we can't give money, don't have the money to give, but we have resources where we can help people out with food and get them into the right places to get to help them, you know. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. We're living in the price, cost of living going through the roof. We're paying the most for gas and electricity, second most in the world. We've got an invasion that I see in England and Ireland. The result of that invasion is horrific crimes across the board, and a government that are pretending it's not happening. And Freedom Dad, God bless.